whoa, 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 whoa. You can't besmirch Dr. Fauci like that. We will come to the aid of Dr. Fauci. And that's exactly what KJP did in the White House press briefing room. Check this out.
So I do want to speak to Dr. Fauci because the political attacks on someone like Dr. Fauci, who and public officials more broadly, but Dr. Fauci, who has spent his career saving lives, and whether it was the AIDS epidemic or as we are just coming out of this COVID, this once in a generation pandemic, these attacks have been counterproductive. They have not been helpful. This is someone, again, who has spent his almost entire career fighting for the well-being, the health of the American people.
So there's a couple things she said there. She doesn't like the criticism, the political criticism of government officials, or whatever she said specifically. Yeah, that's a huge freaking problem. Remember, the United States is based on a group of people voting for representatives to make the laws. The problem is, and I've complained about this several times, Congress doesn't freaking do their jobs. They've passed feel-goody nothing laws, the nothing bad should ever happen law, and they say, all right, executive branch, president, and all of the bureaucratic departments, you figure out what that means. And then you have unelected bureaucrats like Dr. Fauci imposing their might, their federal government might, on people. So it is only natural that we, the people, push back on that sort of thing. So I thought it was fascinating that KJP says, well, the attacks on Dr. Fauci and, government officials as a whole, these people are just trying to do their jobs. Well, the problem is, and I do blame Congress. Congress is the problem. Congress doesn't do their jobs. And I'm talking about both sides of the aisle. Congress needs to actually vote on laws, regardless of whether or not it's going to be beneficial for them politically in the long term. They need to do their freaking jobs, or else you have unelected bureaucrats making arbitrary laws, and we, the people, now have to politically attack the unelected officials that have power that we did not give them. So yes, it is good to politically criticize government officials. She also said something that I thought was fascinating too, in that Dr. Fauci, she said, has been working to save lives, whether it's this pandemic or the AIDS pandemic. Fascinating thing to bring up. Do you remember the AIDS pandemic? Okay, there is a movie, what's it called? Matthew McConaughey, skinny, Dallas Buyers Club. The Dallas Buyers Club, I believe, won the Oscar for Best Picture, or either that or he won the Oscar for Best Actor. Big, huge movie. And the premise of the movie is Matthew McConaughey's character has HIV AIDS. He's looking for, obviously, a cure. He doesn't want to die. The biggest problem he had was going to get the medicine because the federal government was blocking things that he thought was going to work. So he went to Mexico, purchased drugs there, brought them back in the United States, and formed this club where people could buy this medicine that the federal government blocked off, and he had to work around the federal government, and it worked. Effectively, the whole point of the movie is that these drugs work, and the federal government was the problem. She just reminded everybody that Fauci was at the federal government at the time stopping life-saving drugs during the AIDS epidemic. The Dallas Buyers Club, which again won a ton of awards, which I don't care about awards for arts, but it's just interesting. A big, massive, popular movie. Dr. Fauci was the villain. And KJP reminds all of us that yes, during the AIDS epidemic, he blocked critical life-saving medicine to people who needed it because that's what government bureaucracies do. That was more of a long-winded rant on Dr. Fauci than I thought I was gonna give, but such is the modern times.